Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. I'm still getting used to the new microphone, which if I don't do like this, I don't know, maybe you can't even notice that it's there, unless you know Pac-Man is on my shirt tonight. But I digress, man. It is Sunday, January 15th. This is a day I have been anticipating for a long time. It's the first episode, the premiere of my probably most highly anticipated television show of 2023. You guys who are not familiar with, and then of course the people like myself who are super stoked. We are getting ready to dive into a live-action version of one of my favorite video games ever, and arguably one of the best written games of all time. If you don't know what I'm getting ready to talk about, or understand that it's Sunday, and thank God that the Cowboys don't play until tomorrow, so I can focus on this show. Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat? We are getting ready, of course, to dive in, take a watch, and talk spoiler-filled about The Last of Us. And it's the premiere episode, so that's, of course, Season 1, Episode 1. And like I said, I am psyched. The Last of Us is, like I said, one of the best written video games ever. Both Part 1 and Part 2. Both games, I think, are just equally as enjoyable. And the quality of the writing and the story and the craftsmanship in both scenarios is phenomenal. And knowing that is being adapted to live action is exciting, because this world is built for live action, right? Like, you get the right actors, you get the right creators. Like, the world of The Last of Us, while it is a zombie world and there are things about it I'm sure people will try to, compare to other zombie type things, but the way The Last of Us handles its zombies, which have a totally different vibe to them than other zombie things you've seen, as well as like the different factions and groups of people that are out there, and the dramatic story at the center that revolves around your lead character that you play the majority of the game, Joel, and this 14-year-old girl that he's tasked with, getting across the country for this really important thing that's going on during all of this. And like, it's an epic scope, and the story between those two characters in particular is just so strong, as is the side characters and other people that you run into. And knowing that it's coming to live action, like I said, is exciting. But knowing that Neil Druckmann, the writer of the games, is one of your two main producers, along with the guy who ran Chernobyl. I don't know if you guys saw Chernobyl, but if you did, you know that Craig Mazin brings unbelievable quality, craftsmanship, and clout, right? Like, you have a big time, like, Emmy winner back in this video game and working with the guy who wrote it. And I think that's so important, because there's a huge gap of time in between the games, and while Part 2 touches on some of it, there's going to be lots of places to fill in story. There's going to be lots of places to fill in story when you're actually telling the video game pieces of that story. So having Druckmann involved is huge, because who else is better to fill in those gaps than the guy who wrote the story? But then you go past that, man, and it's like, you got the guy who composed the score for the game is composing the score for the show. You have actors from the game, including the two most important actors. You have in here Ashley Johnson, and you also have in Troy Baker, who are the voices of Ellie and Joel. Here, Troy is listed as a character named James, who, off the top of my head, I'm in the middle of playing Part 1 over again in the remastered version of PS5. I want it to be fresh in my brain. And I haven't played the remastered version, and it's gorgeous. But I don't recall it, James. However, Ashley Johnson is playing Ellie's mom, which I think is really cool. And then you go even deeper cut, and you get someone like Merle Dandridge, who's actually playing the character she voiced in the game, Marlene. And there's things like that all over the place, and just seeing the visuals in the trailer, like, there are moments and scenics and shots in there where you're like, I know exactly where in the video game they are. And those are the things that are really exciting for me. And like I said, having Druckmann be part of this team, specifically on the creation and writing side, like, it's exciting to see him be able to expand his own work. And when there are expansions, you should be excited about him because it's coming from that guy. Also, if you've listened to Craig Mazin talk, like, that's a dude who's played the game, who loves the game, who clearly respects the game. And from what I've heard in little bits I've seen, like on Twitter and a couple places, from people who have reviewed it that have played the game, a lot of people are saying it's one of the most faithful video game adaptations of all time. And that's super, super exciting, especially when you have Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey leading the charge here. I mean, Pedro Pascal, one of the best in the business. I say that anytime he's ever in anything. And Bella Ramsey is someone who stole my heart, man, in Game of Thrones. I mean, her as Lady Mormont, you were just like, how's this little girl this good? And Ellie is going to be a very different character than Lady Mormont, and I've heard that, like, Bella is, like, a standout. And that's super exciting because Ellie's character is a lot of fun, and it's going to give you a different side of Bella Ramsey and a little bit more of her range. I know she's done other things since Thrones, but I haven't seen any of them. So I'm very excited to see her take that on. And, you know, you'll have people who'll be like, Pedro kind of looks like Joel, but Bella doesn't exactly look like, you know, Ellie. And people that go that route, it's like, and Craig Mazin said this in an interview, it's not about that, guys. Like, it's about the character and the story and that connecting. And yeah, I don't think Bella Ramsey necessarily looks like Ellie, but the bits and pieces that we've seen of her, specifically when she's goofing around in the trailers, like, I think Mazin refers to it as Ellie-ness. It's spot on, and that's all I'm looking for. So and it's an actor that I'm super excited to see do more. So I'm very excited for Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, both Game of Thrones alum, both back on HBO. All right, man, it's Sunday night. I don't want to waste any time. We got an hour and 20 minutes here. And the synopsis reads, after a global pandemic destroys civilization, a hardened survivor takes charge of a 14-year-old girl who may be humanity's last hope. That synopsis gave away a little bit more than I did. I apologize. Although that's what you would be seeing if you're putting it on HBO Max, which is how I'm watching it. And I'm talking because I need to fill a couple minutes before it comes on live. And also, that's just what I do. You guys know that. But the things that I'm excited or hopefully going to see here, having just refreshed myself with the video game, I very much hope that the show starts similarly. I could see it not, but I would love to just be thrown into it, right? Like, the game starts the night the pandemic happens. And by the way, if people, like, only kind of follow, like, video games, like, when they first come out and you hear, oh man, The Last of Us, I know this did, like, really well or whatever, and you were just kind of following headlines, you know, people who were critically reviewing it were giving it great scores, but it wasn't, like, beloved the way the first one was. It's because it came out at the beginning of our pandemic, and it's a pretty dire world and story, and that one in particular, a lot more than this one. And it's one of those things where I just don't think that clicked with people who were actually going through a pandemic in the real world. You talk to people that have played it since, more recently, like I was talking to a bunch of people at work, and a lot of people will argue that it's better than the first one. And there are elements to it that I won't get into that, from a creativity and storytelling standpoint, are just things I really loved. And like I said, I think it's an even playing field, man. It's just so good across the board. But, you know, I don't even know where I was going. But things that I would be excited to see here would be seeing that first night. And the game kind of just throws you into that first night and starts with Joel's daughter's perspective, Sarah. I would love to see the show start that way. But I could totally, like I said, I could see it starting completely different, not being like, we're going to do this verbatim. But I would expect to see that piece of the story. The first night of the pandemic is pretty important, especially to Joel's story. There is a time jump in the game. I'll be interested to see how much of a time jump they put into this, and I'll also be interested to see where Ellie's storytelling works in, like, backstory. We've gotten bits and pieces of her story in the game, from, like, her backstory. I think that's a place we might see a lot more, specifically with her mom. So I'll be interested to see, like, where and how they handled that, right? Like, like, they could just try to even it all up and keep us close to the beginning of it. So I'll be interested to see that. But regardless, from a storytelling standpoint, I'll be very excited to see that first interaction between Joel and Ellie with Pedro and Bella. And I'll be very interested to see Merle Dandridge in action, like playing the character she played in the game as Marlene, as well as Anna Torv, who will be playing Teresa Tess. I didn't even know there were last names to a lot of these characters. I'm just gonna stick with the first ones, but she'll be playing Tess, who obviously, if you've played the game, has a big piece in the beginning. So I'll be excited to see kind of all of that stuff coming to life for the first time. And the other big one for me will be Joel's brother Tommy being played by Gabriel Luna. I'll be very excited to see what goes on there. There's cool things for Tommy's story as you work through, and specifically the story for both of them. So as far as early things, I think we'll get a bunch of the pandemic and the beginning of all of this. And then, depending on however long they want to make the time hop, I think we'll get into the story that leads Joel to Ellie, and maybe fill in some of the gaps in there with some of Ellie's earlier story. But I would imagine that'll be most of the first episode. So why hypothesize when we can just turn and get ready to dive in? And the other thing, too, that I'm not talking about, the zombies. I am so excited to see the zombies come to life on screen. The trailers, they look phenomenal. The clickers, the bloaters, the different zombies that are going to pop up, I think are really cool, specifically from a conceptual standpoint, as well as like a visual standpoint, as you've seen in the trailer. So, like I said, let's not waste any more time. I'm going to get my volume jacked all the way up. I'm going to get the episode up for you guys. All right, here we go. Wasting no more time and diving in to Season 1, Episode 1 of The Last of Us. Yes, I am excited. HBO's up on the screen.
Any kind of virus, but most probably something similar to influenza.
Because of air travel.
Through the air. Coughing.
I'm sorry, I meant people on planes. That was something you described.
So this is not how the game starts. I'm intrigued at this beginning.
I presume the prospect of a viral pandemic keeps you up at night as well?
No.
No?
No.
All right, well, that's our show.
Mankind has been at war with the virus from the start. Sometimes millions of people die, as in an actual war, but in the end, we always win.
Interesting perspective.
Bacteria.
No.
You like saying no.
Yes.
Not bacteria, not viruses. So
Fungus.
There's the twist for your zombies. It's great.
Because there are some fungi who seek not to kill, but to control. Let me ask you, where do we get LSD from?
where do you get it from?
A fungus. Viruses can make us ill, but fungi can alter our very minds. There's a fungus that infects insects.
Dude, I've seen this on Twitter. I saw this on Twitter this year for the first time.
Fungus starts to direct the ant's behavior, telling it where to go, what to do, like a puppeteer. The fungus needs food to live, so it begins to devour its host.
Oh.
It keeps its puppet alive by preventing decomposition.
Wild.
True, fungi cannot survive if its host's internal temperature is over 94 degrees. But what if that were to change? What if
This is fascinating.
the world were to
my
get slightly warmer? Well, now,
wow.
cordyceps, aspergillus, any one of them could become capable of burrowing into our brains and taking control not of millions of us, but billions of us. Billions of puppets with poisoned minds, permanently fixed on one unifying goal: to spread the infection to every last human alive by any means necessary. And there are no treatments for this.
This is why.
They don't exist. It's not even possible to make them.
So if that happens,
We lose.
Dude. This is why you have Neil Druckmann on the show, man. Oh. And, like, we've got, like, when you play the game, you pick up things and you get bits and pieces of the pandemic and things of how it started and the fact that it's a fungus. So to do, like, and by the way, this open is beautiful right out the gate. And coming off that open, the credit open, I love it. But, like, oh man, oh wow, that was so cool. That's such a neat concept, having it travel across like that. But I digress. Like, to go back, right? Like, before global warming's happening, before there would be a reason for fungus to evolve. Like, Mason and Druckmann got me like ready to go dive into some science books and see like how accurate stuff like that is, and like could we actually get to a zombie apocalypse? Because I've seen the fungus that they talked about on Twitter this year for the first time, and like dead ants, they are not alive, being controlled by fungus. Nuts. And I love that that's how it all start. Like that's where the pandemic comes from, is this fungus. And we're jumping to 2003. So is that Sarah? She feels a little bit older than...
Where's the pancake mix?
Her character in the game feels younger than this girl, but it's fine. She's probably about the same age as Bella Ramsey.
I know you don't like them. It's for my benefit. Vitamin C.
I like getting to see some of the day before. Listen, if this is the day.
Fractions.
How old are you again?
36.
That's my age.
Shell.
Calcium.
Lovely.
Be the same age as Joel for like a little bit.
Hey.
There he is.
Still alive, you old
Uncle
fucker.
Tommy.
Aw, he loves you.
Spot on.
If we can't frame until we pour, we're not getting paid until we frame.
Well, we could bring someone else on, get the job done faster.
No. I'm not splitting this job. I barely want to split it with you. We could work a double.
Today,
Oh, no, I'd be done by 9. By 9, right?
Yeah,
Already spot on.
Jakarta. Where is that, Middle East?
maybe part of Asia.
Jakarta isn't a country. Being a part of Asia isn't mutually exclusive with being a country, and in fact, it's the capital of Indonesia.
Ooh, Sarah Brainiac. Like that. Looking at... I've done that so many times in life.
Your t-shirt's inside out.
Shit.
There's nothing better than seeing a dream casting happen and then it be as good as you hope. What are you up to, Sarah? I love that. Oh, that's awesome. I love that so much. You'll see, but us gamers right now are going, yeah.
Y'all want some biscuits?
Dad, you love biscuits.
I do. But I'm on Atkins.
Oh, man. 2003. What a time.
I can tell you how exciting it was listening to that fucking conversation.
Put that out.
Oh, I am in love right now. This is so... I don't think you could have had a stronger start. And we haven't even started the game yet. So yeah, it's fun getting to, like I said, getting to see like the day of everything. Because the game starts at night. You actually start as Sarah with nobody home. Mild spoiler. But we know that now. Not even a spoiler. Joel already said he's hoping to be home by like 9. But adding like stuff like this to Sarah's story is great, because it's just gonna give depth. Add you know. I can't. So I had the same issue with the Sandman, which I promise one day I will get everything up. My hard drive issues never got rectified, so I might have to do reshoots. But one day. But I did run into the same issue where it's like I know things and it's like I can't say them in the moment because I don't necessarily want to spoil for you guys who haven't watched. But I would hope if you were watching my review and reactions, I'd hope you'd watch the show. You're really getting more of it right now. You're getting a lot of me talking while fire trucks and cop cars and SWAT cars fly around at the clock shop. Oh, it's already happening on the news.
I'm very sorry, he cannot finish.
I'm already finished.
طب خلصني أعطيها إياها بقى. You should go home.
Good job. I knew he was going to be finished. There's clearly news happening already. She's like, oh, that's freaking dope, man. You pull the thing down and it looks like a clock. That's... Wow, well done.
Hey, is everything okay? Like, on the news?
Like what, hon?
There was just a lot of police and stuff on the road today.
Well, that's true every day, isn't it? People out there need to get right with Jesus. 3 nails plus 1 cross equals 4 given.
Oh, I actually kind of like that. Can't say I've heard that one. Ooh, what we got movie-wise in here? Anything worthwhile? Oh, snap. Old lady's moving. What do we think? This is the fungus getting to her? Is this like the beginning of her infection? Oh, man.
Hey, Mrs. Adler?
Oh,
Can I
man.
borrow this?
Yeah, sure.
I think that's the beginning of her turning. Oh, animals, man. They always know. You see an animal acting weird, trust that animal, or at least the dog. Like I just feel like in general, like animals know when shit's messed up, or that's just a thing I've learned in television and movies, and we know everything you watch in television and movies is true. Those are very low. I was gonna say, it was like light, man. I heard that said like after 9.
You locked the door for once. Good job.
Yeah. It's 10.
Oh no. They gave us the wrong size for the headers. Doesn't mean anything to you. I'm sorry. Well.
Fixed it for you.
Did you?
What?
I don't hear anything.
That was lame. You're lame.
Yeah.
Nail it. Oh, nail it. Oh, it was so good.
Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
It's better when I do.
It was only $20, which I stole from you.
This is like Sandman. It's right out the game.
Besides, it's the thought that counts. And you were never gonna do it for yourself.
Thank you.
Oh, there's one more. Borrowed from the Adlers.
Oh, this is the one with the deleted scenes.
Yeah. Imagine how bad those have to be.
The one with the deleted scenes. Oh, it's great stuff. Early days of DVD. Not necessarily early days of DVD, but like people who were used to VHS. God, that's me now. I have so many DVDs and Blu-rays.
Hello?
Joel, it's me. I'm okay,
Yeah?
but I'm in jail.
God damn it.
What's my fault this time? I was at the bar, some guy goes crazy, starts swinging at a waitress. It doesn't fucking matter, you gotta bail me out.
Oh, more genius.
It's a fucking madhouse, Joel. I gotta get out.
Which jail? Travis County?
Yeah, on 10.
It is great. So when she falls asleep in the game, she wakes up to an empty house. That's a conversation you don't have. I don't think. I'm trying to, like, I just played it. I don't remember that hearing the conversation of Tommy being in jail, or why he was out. My assumption was always, I could have missed this, but my assumption was always that he was out because things started happening. So I loved, like that. I love that stuff. Oh boy, here we go. For those that haven't watched and are watching for the first time with me, just prep yourself. Shit about to get crazy. 2:16 in the AM.
Dad?
Is happening. That's what Sarah's thinking.
Indoors, law
Yeah,
enforcement and
ain't
emergency services are
Working
in the
on the
area
TV.
and will be in contact with further instructions. Stay indoors.
Oh, the pup. It's like, yo, get me away from this crazy, almost undead lady. So you don't know where you. He's like, yo, yeah, right? Like, don't do that. Come back here. I can't wait to talk to people who haven't played the game to see how they're feeling. Because, like, I'm just sitting here, like, I'm excited. I know what's coming. They're doing it so well. But, like, I'm also living in the moment. This is,
Come on,
Mercy, please.
So fun.
Mercy!
Dark Psycho, fuck you. Hey, you don't know yet, but you gonna wish you would have just let me in the house with you and chilled.
Mrs. Adler?
Oh, God. Nah, come on, Sarah. I mean, you don't know that zombies are happening right now, but like... Yeah, dog was... Get me out of here. Yeah, just go home, Sarah. Oh, man. This is why I like additions. Like, I might know some things, but like, I am on the edge of my seat right now. Where is it gone?
Mrs. Adler?
Gather, Sarah, gather. Go home. Just go home. Oh, just go home. Just spin. I'm out. That's too much blood to deal with. I ain't even try to look at that. Yeah, you run away. No. Sarah, get the hell out of there. Yeah, it's the old lady. Oh, shit, man. This is the way she's like, ah! Oh, man. Run away, Sarah. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, dude. Oh. Yeah, run. Run! Ah! I don't know if we've seen like it being distributed that way to somebody. Get in the car. So in the game, oh, she old, so her legs just broke. It don't matter. She gotta make it okay. Oh, that's, oh, in the head. Oh. Get in the car. Man, that one teardrop right there.
Who killed her? Baby, I'm sorry. It's not just the Adlers. But we're gonna be brave, and we're gonna get out of this.
Go.
Let's go, come on.
In the game, Ms. Adler, she runs into the glass door at the house.
You lock your doors now!
Come on, get in.
Is that like I'm not trying to tip you to run away as well so that we don't run into traffic? Is that what that was right there, Joel?
Seatbelt on. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. I like that the camera's in the back seat with Sarah, because in the game you're controlling Sarah still, so you can move around in the back seat and watch this stuff happening. Goes shit right out of the game. Come on! Oh, God, it makes me so giddy.
How do you know we're not sick?
They're saying it's mostly people in the city. That's why they got the highway blocked off.
Let's go.
Jimmy's place.
Jimmy's place. I wonder if we get a flashback and if Jimmy ends up being James. Maybe not. Don't stop.
Got a kid, Joe. So do we. Keep driving.
We could put him in the back.
Somebody else will come along.
Oh man, that's in the game too. I didn't pick up on it like the way I just did there, but that's a wonderful foreshadow moment for something later.
Fuck! Everybody had the same fucking idea.
Yep.
All right, hang on. Fucking army.
Isn't that good?
It's good for them, but that's the highway we're trying to get to.
All right, keep moving. Head north.
Could be a lot of people.
We can't go south. We can't go east. We can't go west. How else are we supposed to go? Tommy, come on!
Yeah, make moves, Tommy. Oh man, dude, I love
Maybe it's
that.
everywhere.
Like,
Maybe there's nowhere to go.
we're off to a very good start, folks.
What the fuck?
Like, if this first half hour, wow, that is even loud in my ear. If this first half hour is a representation of how they're accurately adapting and then like adapting on top of the stuff from the game. Oh, we are in for a special ride, man. Like, it's the way I felt with Sandman, where it was like a literal adaptation, like almost word for word.
Keep going.
There's gotta be more adapting.
Can't stop you.
I can't drive through them.
Are you serious? Just keep going.
Let's go. There's obviously gotta be more adapting going on in the storytelling and stuff that's different from the game or added. But like the stuff that is coming out of the game is like so spot on right now. Oh my god. I'm gonna do what I did with the Sandman, man. If I can get clips of like some of these from the game, I'm gonna line them up, man, because oh my god. Jeez. Kind of wish a plane had crashed like that in the game. I think maybe they get clipped by the car. Maybe that's what it is. So that's what like the fake out was there. Because Sarah does have a hurt leg. In the game, you can't really understand how her legs hurt, but the visual there, you're like, yeah, nah, she can't walk.
I got you. Are you okay?
My ankle.
Okay.
We gotta get off the
Oh yeah, not yeah. Oh.
Tommy! Tommy! Head to the river, I'll find a way. Get her out of here, Joe, go!
Can you run? No. You keep your eyes on me. Okay? Okay. You don't look anywhere else.
Oh, that's terrifying. It's like zombie mode, right? But like, I just, you know, it's great execution. I'd be scared. I was. Run. Oh man, I like fast zombies. Another thing that I love about this game is like you don't have like no nonsense zombies. What they call runners. We'll learn. I'm sure they'll tell you about them as you go through, as you would in the game.
You're safe. Don't move. My daughter's hurt. Her ankle.
Stop right there.
Okay. Easy now. We're not sick. Okay.
I'm sorry, repeat. Yes, sir.
The tone of the guy's voice changed.
We are not sick.
Oh man. And a hill. Oh, the game.
Please don't.
Tommy. Got grazed, but Salt and Sarah right there.
Okay. You're okay. You're okay. Move your hand, baby. Oh, I know, baby. I know. I know it hurts. I know, baby. I know. I know this hurts. You're gonna be okay. All right. Baby, listen to me. I gotta get you up, okay? I know. Tommy, help me! Joe. Come on, baby girl. Come on, baby girl. I gotta get you up. Come on, get up.
That's why I said Pedro. Like, the minute he was cast, he's so perfect. 20 years later, perfect jump. I mean, I should have figured that when we had 2003. So make it present time. Oh, man, wow. A performance. I mean, you knew that you were going to get that from him, but the little girl played Sarah. Wow, man. Whew. She crushed it. But that's the most soul-crushing thing about the game. Is that in the middle of a zombie pandemic, where, like, Joel could have lost his daughter to like zombies She's killed by a bullet by a human who's ordered to kill 2 not sick people. It really gives you an idea of like the tone and where you are at the beginning of everything, and then in the game, like they just did, it's a drastic 20-year jump where like you go from like the chaos to now it's just in the world. Oh man, look at that. God. Lost. 2023. One of the other things that I'm excited about is I think you're going to see perspectives and things that we might not have had in the game from other people that you might run into. So like stuff like that is exciting. But that adaptation of like from the minute that outside of her actually going across the street instead of like Joel coming into the house and getting out with her, almost everything that was in that stretch from her waking up, or well, from the start of like him getting home for birthday to now, like that was, it's exactly how the game opens. Outside of like her actually going next door, but that was a way better, more tense sequence having her go next door. Very intrigued to see what we get now in the jump and where we're starting with this little kid. And like, will we meet Ellie first? I don't know. Being that we jumped to 20 years, I think we're gonna run into Ellie exactly where I'd expect to run into her, which is Tess and Joel are out and about. I don't know if I know who this.
What's your name? Are you alone?
How did you get this?
There's gonna be a little tickle right here.
That is a fail.
I told you that after we gave you some medicine, we're gonna find you your favorite food to eat.
Kid's infected.
And toys, as many as you want to play with.
This woman is lying through her teeth.
It's just a little needle. It's okay.
Joel. There he is.
Kid.
Gotta be the kid. Yeah. Sure. You can't. The other thing I like about having a bit of the day before the night is getting a little bit more time with Joel to really give you a better sense of like him pre-pandemic. Already right out the gate, I would say PEDRO is nailing present day Joel vibes quite well.
You got anything else?
Nothing today. Tomorrow we got street sweeping or sewer maintenance.
Which pays more?
That'd be the one with the shit.
Dude, like I said, I love that they have the composer from the game composing here. It's just one of the most important things too with the game is the sound design, and like this music in particular, the minute you hear it, it just puts you in this world. Fireflies. I'm just so. Oh man.
Unauthorized exit from a quarantine zone. Maria Alessiano. Violation of EMC 314.7. Unauthorized entry into a quarantine zone.
I wonder if these are people. So this is like the type of stuff where I don't think in the game you see any actual hangings, but you'll see people hanging in squares from executions that have happened. I wonder if any of those names were. That's one of those things too where it's like, I'm not good. I don't have the time to do that kind of deep diving, but like names or things that you hear in the background, I wonder how many of them will tie to notebooks or different people you find throughout the game.
Or I could just shoot you.
Yeah, but then what would you do? You're short 5.
Oxy?
Who's this guy?
Pills and bullets. Bullets and pills.
The more you shoot people, the harder it is to sleep, I guess.
Oh, you guessed.
This kid's from something though. I don't know where.
I need the bag back.
I need the bag back. let you know the kind of dire world we're in.
Hey, do yourself a favor. Stay off the streets for the next few nights. Boss has got us working dope. Guys are jumpy and tired. It's easy to make a mistake in the dark.
Again, like these bits are great world building additions, right? Like the ways that you're able to, the ways you're able to get information and things in the game, right? Picking up diaries and stuff. You're not gonna do that here, so to set the world and give more context, little pieces like that are great. Oh, here we go, Tess. I love Tess. Very excited to see Anna Torv here.
What do you want?
I want you to forget this ever happened.
Done. It's just a truck battery. I paid you for it, you sold it to someone else, and you spend my money. I mean, you think I've never done shit like that?
My guys fucked you up.
Yeah, so discipline them.
What about your guy?
He's so good.
I give you my word that he won't hurt you. I'll tell him that I got jumped by some guys, and then you and I can just move the fuck on. Now your shit has pretty much ruined my week. So are we good?
Yeah.
Oh, shit! That was very explosive. Oh, that guy did. But Anna Torv, great casting for Tess. Like right out the gate, she's got that vibe down.
Oh, shit.
And again, like I like this type of stuff, you know? Like this is all stuff that happens off screen of Joel in the video game.
They're shooting! They're shooting at us! Oh no, I'm not a firefly! I'm not a firefly!
Bella! That's that Ellie-ness right there.
From 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly and clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fuck you.
Let's go.
State your name. Slowly. Veronica. Same as yesterday. And the... Hey, people are gonna come looking for me. People from Fedra, you hear me? Let me out or you're gonna pay, motherfuckers!
Oh, frickin' Bella, let's go. One of the other things, too, and it was wonderful to hear Mason say this, but he was like, when it came to the casting, he watched hundreds of people, auditioned hundreds, and saw hundreds of, auditions, and when I got to Bella, he was like, that's it. And then Ashley saw Bella and was like, that's Ellie. And when the woman who voices Ellie and is the original character says that's your Ellie, that's how you know.
Is there any chance it's coming in at night?
When I'm sleeping, Gabriella listens, or my son, the smart one, not the other one, God bless him.
It's been 3 weeks. It's never taken him more than a day to respond. Show me where the tower is.
Joel, it's in Wyoming. There are worse things than infected out there. There are raiders. There are slavers.
But you're sure Tommy's okay?
It's the Cody Tower, Q-Bar 4, but I don't know exactly what...
Just like... I don't know. If you didn't play a game, I'm talking to you right now. But does this world, like, pull you in and just suck you in? Like, that's the thing I love so much about the game, and I think the show already, what we're, like, gotta be, 50 minutes. Like, the show is doing the same thing. Not just the characters, but the world. Like, just pulls you in. Buffalo! Shout out to Bills fans today. Congrats on advancing the win over Miami. I'm sure it wasn't the way a lot of you hoped it would go. But hey, a dub's a dub. Yeah, just stuff those feelings way down and bury them. Booze. Yeah, man, broken watch. And I said booze, but also pills he's got going on. For the KO, taking a nice nap. PEDRO he is locked in, folks, if you didn't know. this is something I crave as well. Just more with him and Tess. Even if it's something as little as that, like those little additions, that's a relationship I like a lot in the game.
I got jumped by a couple guys.
What guys?
Just a couple teenagers. Come on, you know these guys born after the outbreak? Never learned how to argue, they start swinging. Fucking 19-year-old pieces of shit.
These aren't new.
I was in federal lockup all day. I need you to take a breath. The guys who jumped me were with Robert. Robert is terrified of you. So you march out of here all Clint Eastwood, he's gonna get wind of it and skip. I need you to take a breath.
Like that.
No, I promised Robert that you wouldn't hurt him, but I would very much like for you to hurt him. So let's go hunt that motherfucker down.
Yeah.
And then we'll go find Tommy, all right?
Go find Tommy. Interesting addition. But again, this is all taking place before, like, when we jump 20 years, it's happening after this in the game. So that's an interesting piece of layering for people who know the story, to know that they were looking for Tommy.
The team in place at Southeast 3?
There's Marlene.
Why do you have some random girl locked in a room? And the guys you have guarding her won't tell me shit? Our people are asking what's going on, and I don't know what to tell them.
Tell them to follow fucking orders.
Yeah. This has to be so fun for Merle Dandridge.
We are in a war against a military dictatorship to restore democracy and freedom. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Are we winning?
Rebellion takes time.
If you fight for 20 years and you get nowhere, you're not a rebellion.
We're not hitting Fedra all over the QZ.
I want them as distracted as possible because tonight, every Firefly in Boston is going to gather in this building and we are going to leave the QZ. We're quitting?
No, we're taking that random girl locked in that room west.
From our guy in the radio tower in Salem.
Is there... Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this so much. It's so good. Oh, you guys are just... I hope you guys feel the same way, or you're just gonna hate how often I say it.
Whatever you need. Whatever it takes. We'll get her where she needs to go.
Yeah, when we start in the game, we are on the hunt for Robert.
My friend? Don't worry, I don't want anything. But if you're feeling lost...
You tell me to look for the light and I'll break your jaw.
God, man, I love Pedro.
Well, I mean, it cost us a couple of cards, but we got him. I mean, we can take the subway tunnel under Haymarket, get into the building from below, and take Robert by surprise.
Pay this fucker back.
Oh, gross.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Marlene.
You're not scared. Then unlock me.
How about we start with thank you?
For what?
For saving your life? I am the one who told him not to shoot you, if you recall.
Why did you stop them?
We'll get to that. How you feeling?
The same. I won't tell anyone about any of this.
Where are you gonna go? Back to Federal Military School?
You think I chose that place? They put me there when I was a baby.
They didn't put you there. I did. Ellie.
There it is.
You're my fucking mom or something?
And look like your mom?
No, you're not.
My name is Marlene. I'm the leader of the Fireflies in the Boston QZ.
Why would terrorists dump me with Fedra?
Because it's where you'd be safest, and you were safe there until you decided to sneak out. A terrorist? Was Riley a terrorist?
Why won't you let me go?
Because you have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined. So we're leaving tonight, and we're taking you with us.
This stuff is so good.
What I'm about to tell you cannot be repeated to anyone, because if you do, I assure you, you will die.
Merle, bringing the heat, baby. She had to be so excited to be able to bring Marlene to life like this. Knowing the bit of added story that they'd give her, too, like... Yes, get this mofo. Gotta watch my tongue sometimes, man. Oh, sewers. Oh, man. Look at that shit.
I wasn't expecting it.
Think he wasn't down here last time?
No. You think he came down after he was infected?
Maybe down here is where he was infected.
Let's keep moving.
God, man, those visuals, they're so good. Yes. The light on the shoulder.
This opens into the hallway. The fuck? Someone put a piano in front of it?
You smell that?
Yeah, gunpowder.
Fresh blood.
Tess.
Oh man, Robbie already dead. They're all very dead. Bomb?
Well, the battery's no good. He still tried to sell it twice.
Oh shit, Ellie.
Joel?
Marlene?
So this is who Robert screwed us over with?
Give me my knife.
What do you need a car battery for?
Don't.
Point it at me. And to answer your question, I need it for a better reason than you do. No offense, but Tommy's just one man. It's our business to know things.
To know things. You're the cause of it. You turn my own brother against me.
Okay, Joel. We were gonna move Ellie out of the zone tonight, but we won't make it anywhere like this, not for a while anyway. So now I'm thinking you're gonna do it.
The hell we are.
Huh.
Who is she?
To you, she's cargo.
We don't smuggle people. Sorry.
I can do it. Kim, you don't have a fucking ear on your fucking head, could you please? I know what's out there. We were going with an entire squadron for that very reason. But now I don't have a truck, I don't have a squadron, Fedra's 5 minutes away. What I do have is you. And I know what you're both capable of, for better or worse.
What are they capable of?
You get her there safely, and they'll give you what you need. Fueled up truck, guns, supplies, all of it.
Asshole!
You trust her? No, me neither.
But she seems desperate.
Firefly vehicle usually means repurposed Fedra stuff. So better than decent chance making it to Tommy in one of those. The second we hand that kid over.
Y'all talk it through, but please remember that I'm bleeding out.
Merle Dandridge is so good.
Okay, here's the deal. We'll get her to your crew at the State House, but before we hand her over, they give us everything that we want. If not, we kill her, there and then.
Deal.
Really?
Remember what I told you? Now go get your backpack. Now, Ellie.
It's just like, it's exquisite.
Let's go.
Joel.
Don't fuck this up. Give us a minute, all right?
What the fuck?
I love her.
There's the short way or the long way. The short way is pretty much anywhere.
I guess the long one is the cab and come on.
So who's Bill and Frank? The radio's a smuggling code, right? 60s song, they don't have anything new. 70s, they got new stuff. What's 80s?
She spot on, man.
What are you doing?
Killing time.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
I'm sure you'll figure that out.
Your watch is broken. You mumble in your sleep.
Yo. You see me go, yo. It's got right.
I've never been on the other side of the wall. Look how dark it is. You guys go out there a lot?
I guess.
When was the last time?
Maybe a year. What's it matter?
But you know where to go, so we're gonna be okay.
Yeah. So what's the deal with you anyway? You some kind of bigwig's daughter or something?
Something like that. Well, the radio came on when you were sleeping.
What? What was the song?
They kept saying like wake me up before you go. Gotcha. 80s means trouble. Code broken.
Fantastic. Well done.
Spot under Lancaster looks good. You got a jacket in your pack?
Yeah.
Okay, get it. It's time to go.
Great example of how smart and sharp Ellie is. It's one of my favorite things about her. And something that I saw like in an interview like that was or like something that I was reading that was brought up. This is a really good point. you have, or I think it was Mason was saying, like, you have someone like Ashley Johnson, and she gives such a nuanced performance for a 14-year-old because she was in her 20s when she did Ellie the first time. So you're getting an adult doing a really nuanced performance for a 14-year-old, which makes Ellie feel a lot more adult than she is, which is purposeful. But again, is a reason that when I heard it was Bella, I was like, that is somebody who can capture that in a performance, and showed it with Lady Mormont. It's super exciting, like, to see Bella get this chance to take this character.
Holy shit, I'm actually outside. Oh,
Her tone, it, like Mason said it, her Ellie-ness, it's... I'm telling you, man, like, one, I love that they're going an hour and 20 for this episode, but two, like, they are really showing off, I think, the potential of this world, of these characters, of the show, really, really well. Like, you're getting a good feel of a lot of different things the game does produce for the characters and the vibes that you get. Like one of those things I feel like is tough to replicate is, like, the way I feel right now, like I am on edge. And when you play these games and you've got to sneak places, one wrong move, man, when you sneak and pop, you're done. So, like, I love that you're getting this. We got a little bit of runner action, you know, at the breakout and the chaos that can go on. You're getting some of Ellie's personality and stuff. I feel like I'm very up here, and it is a very, like, tense situation on screen right now, but, like, I don't know, man. They're nailing everything.
The hell?
It's their guy. That's your buddy, Joel.
You gotta be shitting me. Get on your fucking knees. Hold on. What'd I fucking tell you, man? I said stay the fuck home. Get on your knees.
Get on your knees. Just get on your knees. Listen, you let us do this run, we'll split the cards with you.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
I'm so blessed. Hands on your head, eyes forward. Hands on your head!
Really, man?
Yep. I'm doing this by the book.
All right, what about 3/4?
Ellie's nervous.
Unauthorized exit. I'll hang you for that. Fine, everything off of this run. And half off on all of the pills. Half off? All off. Risk my job for half off. Out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, right in the leg, yep.
Get out of the fucking way! Whoa.
Can't let him test her.
We can fix this.
You guys unfamiliar with the game, putting it together?
Whoa.
Chained up, being tested for cognizance and stuff every day. That is a wonderful TV moment that you don't get in the video game. You won't get, like, a quick jump like that back. Also, a way to kill both people and zombies in the game. You can do it with your fists. So, seen Joel pound a guy like that. Now they know.
No, I'm not sick.
No!
I'm not sick.
No!
I'm not sick. Look. This is 3 weeks old. No.
3 weeks.
Just look at the LTU. When did it happen? It doesn't matter. You have to trust me. They're gonna catch us if we don't run.
Joel, we gotta move.
Another classic video game tactic. Pick up them weapons as you go. I suppose also post-apocalyptic. Biological pandemic kind of scenario. It's not Wake Me Up Before You Go. If you were wondering. The visual, like, just... Like, you're like, we're in the world, man. This... Bow, bow, bow. Yo. One episode in. Freaking fire me up, dude. This was... Like... It's one of those, like... You know, I heard... Like, good things, and I expected good things, right? Like, we went through this at the beginning. You know, like, all of the great things that they did to make sure this was gonna work when they were adapting, right? The people they added from the video game, the creators that were involved from the video game that are involved here, the casting choices. But now finally seeing it in an hour and 20 rough. Well, oh no! Wait. Oh shoot! Oh shit! What did I do? Oh no! What did I do? Crap! Man, I fucked it all up. Sweet Jesus. You know, like, just seeing it brought to life. I'm sorry I got distracted because I accidentally clicked out. I love seeing PlayStation and Naughty Dog. All of that. Do we get a preview for next week? Come on. Here we go. Yes, clickers and runners. Next step.
Is it hard? Knowing they were people once?
In the weeks ahead. Okay, so there's a whole season look.
We can just keep our histories to ourselves. You don't tell anyone about your condition.
You're not immune from being ripped apart.
Frank, we will never have friends because there are no friends to be.
Yes. I can't wait for Nick Offerman.
Just because life stopped for you doesn't mean it has to stop for me.
Yes, 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 yes.
There's no halfway with this. We finished what we started.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I was saying, like, inside the episode, yes.
Craig, that I became extremely excited of what this adaptation might look like.
Love that.
We asked Nico Parker to play an incredibly challenging part. We have to fall in love with her. And she also has to be a specific kind of person, very different than the person that Joel is going to meet later in the episode in the guise of Ellie. It was important for us to present the audience with a Sarah that we felt we could follow for the rest of the series. She's almost the protagonist until disaster strikes. Something that Nico Parker and PEDRO PASCAL pulled off gorgeously.
One of the things I was going to talk about.
She is the person that I live for. Without her, I don't have purpose.
He's the best. I could not ask for a better on screen.
He's the best single dad in the game on screen.
A lot of the time with acting, you're not always seeing what you're reading and what the audience is seeing. So a lot of the time you're kind of making up in your head, which on one hand is really amazing because you can create this whole narrative in your brain that then you get to follow through with. But on the other hand, it's like you're watching someone die and you're just staring at like a patch of grass. The amazing thing about Fort McCloud is it was like you could just really immerse yourself because it's all in front of you. Anytime where I was scared, I was genuinely really scared. Dad?
It brought it to life so well.
We are not sick! So this is how it begins. It begins with tragedy.
Which is the event that shapes the character for the rest of the show.
That kind of love, that unconditional love, is beautiful and can be very scary.
I love that Neil Druckmann is involved.
The feeling I had after the first take of adrenaline.
The emotion is heartbreaking. It's ugly. The way she dies is not pretty. Her death is the fulcrum point for...
Merle. And, of course, Ellie.
My name is Marlene. I'm the leader of the Fireflies in the Boston QZ.
Let's talk about Merle.
I first met Marlene almost exactly 10 years ago in 2012. It was to audition for the video game.
I love that. Said it.
I don't remember when I first heard about it, but When I did, I was like...
Sure, I'm playing Marlene.
Mommy want that. Did I think that they would actually cast me? No, I didn't.
Huh.
It's another thing to step in front of the camera and embody her with my own instrument. I grew into her, and I guess my deep passion and love for her.
It's so wonderful.
A person is trying to avoid a fate worse than death. For Joel, it'd be losing a daughter again, and he probably would not survive. So then, how do we put him in a situation where now he has to be with this girl, and he immediately tries to reject it?
That's why I love having Druckmann, like, hearing him talk.
Ellie's not a big fan of Joel when she first meets him, but I think that's also because they're like similar personalities. They just clash, and they don't know how to relate to each other yet.
In the final moments of this episode, Joel forgets that the girl that is standing behind him is not his daughter.
Primitive instinct takes over. He can't help but act. Something else took control of him in a similar way to how the cordyceps does, except for him it's a version of love.
That word is the fungus.
When Ellie watches him beating a man to death, she is activated. Earlier in the episode, when Sarah sees him
broken,
this old woman who's infected, who he has to kill,
You killed her.
she cries. Ellie doesn't cry. Ellie likes it. She likes the idea of somebody defending her like that, and she likes the idea of that guy being punished. This is where you begin to see the problem. Also, the deliciousness of the pairing.
Yep.
These two are meant to be together, but look out.
Yup. Oh man, I mean, like, one, again, just the sheer quality of Chernobyl. Like, if you had any doubts about Mason, throw it out the window, because Chernobyl's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. But then, like, when you get to, like, that was the thing that sold me. The first time I had heard Mason talk about the show and about the game, like, no, that's a lie. I absolutely am lying. I was excited just the minute it was announced, and then when it was Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, I was like, come on, right? Like, come on. Like the world's best single dad right now in the medium, in the media game, right? Like television, movies. He's been a single dad so many times, and he's so good at it. And he's one of the best actors in the world. And then you pair him up with former Game of Thrones alum, as he's also a former Game of Thrones alum, in Bella Ramsey. Like, I said it early, man. That was the thing that sold me. But once I started to, like, look in, to be like, all right, man, like, this is something that's near and dear to me. And you guys know, having watched me react and talk about things that are near and dear to me that are nailed, you know, I get really attached to these things. And seeing it done correctly is always very important. And when, you know, the big thing for me was Neil Druckmann. Getting him involved, you're like, dude, it's the writer, the guy who's responsible for the game. Like, yes. But the first time I heard Mason talk, I was like, this guy gets it, man. Like, he gets the game. And what he's talking about right there at the end, and it's one of the things that I was going to talk about, was Nico Parker's tremendous performance as Sarah Miller, you know, Joel's daughter. It's one of those things where in the game, and this is something where video game storytelling is different in the sense that you're not just writing a script like you would any other script, but like you're writing the script for like the people to become the characters, right? So the way that game starts, while you don't get to spend a lot of time with Sarah and Joel, you start the game as Sarah, right? And you know, these games have what you call like a free roam, right? Where you'll be put in a room or someplace where, okay, there's a lot of different places you got to go and explore. And as you walk around, you turn the TV on, you read pieces of paper, you learn about the world. One of the things I love watching in a live adaptation like this is how you're able to build the world and suck people into the world without being like, here's a whole bunch of exposition you got to read, right? And that's something that I think just the tone and the vibe of what you're watching is pulling you in, the way the game allows you to be pulled in by things that you find and discover and learn and uncover. But while you're doing that, right, like you are playing as that character, and whether you're knowingly aware or not, like you're becoming connected to that character because you're playing them. And you play Sarah for like the first 15, 20 minutes, right? Like you roam around the house twice. And then you get into the car and you're in the back seat, which is why I loved having the camera in the back seat at the beginning of that whole sequence. Like, because you're following around, because in the car you can move to the left, you can move to the right, you can see different things, and seeing the camera be put in places that recreate imagery perfectly, like that whole car sequence, or not the whole car sequence, but good chunks of that sequence, like you're just sitting there, it's like, this is just right outside of the game. But you know that you get that first half of the open with Sarah, and then once the crash happens, Sarah can't walk. Now you become Joel. And again, it's one of those things where, like, just subconsciously, you are tied to these characters, because while you know, if you're watching trailers or stuff, when you're playing the game, that Sarah doesn't look like the main character that you've seen, like, in the trailers or stuff. But, like, like I said, in the game, she looks even a little bit younger. Like I said, like, subconsciously, the minute you're flipped into the dad role in the game, and now you're carrying this girl around, and like I said, you don't necessarily, like, if you aged her up a little bit, maybe she changes her hair color, like, it could be maybe the character. Depending on how much you dive into the game beforehand, you may or may not have known that. And the fact that, she is a little bit younger, feeling in the game, you could believe, like, an age up where, maybe it could be the same. And the game kind of structures the characters in a little bit similar tone, but different fashion. But when you get to that moment where, like, and if you did, it's one of those things I've played the game so many times I can't remember, like, if I was actively aware when I was playing, like, oh yeah, Sarah's not going to be around. But it's one of those, like, even if you did, you're playing a zombie game, you're not expecting Sarah to get shot. And when it happens, it's shocking, and it punches you dead center of the chest. And it's one of the things that I always find amazing with video games, is because you take on those personas, if there is an emotional tie to those characters or to that storytelling, I mean, I cried multiple times through both video games, because you're in it, right? And like I said, whether you are consciously aware or not, your subconscious is aware of, like, the roles that you're playing. If you're, I guess, like a video gamer, I don't know, I get really into my shit, if you couldn't tell. But it's one of those where, like, that moment is so powerful in the game and so important to Joel's character, and you live it as Joel. Like, you're playing Joel at that point in the game, and to recreate that in live action in a short amount of time, right? Like, the episode kind of flowed very much how I thought it would, where, like, the first half hour or so is kind of that 2003, and then jump us to present day, and you get to, like, Joel and Ellie crossing paths and starting their adventure, and that's about what they cover here. And if you're talking about, okay, I only got a half hour to really make the audience feel that connection, you needed really special performers, and you also need that daytime piece of the storytelling, getting to spend a little bit more time with those characters. Like I even said, it just getting to see Joel a little bit more pre Sarah's death adds to the contrast in who he is, right? Where, like, you play the game, you learn to understand that this is a different guy than who he was before. So getting to see it and allow that connection to kind of build a little bit and marinate before all hell breaks loose. And like I said, the tragedy of a zombie apocalypse, the thing that Joel could be mad at is that. But it's just like, a guy straight up shooting two innocent people. Like, it has a different impact and a different effect. And the watch, that's one of those things where, like, in the game, you find it, you learn, oh, cool, and then you have that moment. So, like, adding that stuff in the front half, like, all of that just builds into making that moment more impactful. And then when you have someone like Nico Parker who steps in, she was phenomenal. Like, really, really excellent casting choice. She plays wonderfully off PASCAL, and, like, you had Mason saying that role is so important, and that performance gets it to where it needs to be. Then you add on top Pedro Pascal, which you all know, like, you know what you're getting there. I mean, that moment hits. But the bigger thing for me is really giving us more time with Sarah really creates that distinct difference and even stronger than it can in the game even. Like, while like Sarah seems more reserved, we don't spend a lot of time with her to get to kind of know her enough to really tell the difference or how much of a difference there is in the characters themselves. You know, you just know that the love that Joel feels for Sarah and how hard it is for him to commit to that in the game. So getting to see that stuff, like Mason says, yeah, you really do get to see the polar opposites to Sarah and Ellie. And it's one of those where Joel is so tied to, I don't want to experience that again. That's the thing he's afraid of. But I think the thing that eventually warms him up to Ellie as they go on their journey is the fact that, like, she's not his daughter, right? Like, there is a difference. And I'm very excited to watch Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey go through the process of being, you're not my daughter, to, oh, you're not my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a lot of fun to see. But that's something that, yeah, like Nico Parker, we get her for an episode. Man, does that, and what Pedro said, Sarah is his purpose. You know what I mean? Like, that character and everything that happens in that part of the story is what makes Joel tick, or at least the Joel that we spend time with. So nailing that stuff down and getting that performance from Nico Parker is wonderful. Pedro Pascal, like I've been saying, is just, I mean, he's the best. But he really does capture Joel, and even with his the accent that he's got going on here, like there are moments where like I was like, am I in the video game? Like he's really nailing his stuff. And same with Bella. I mean, there are moments, like that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, Bella doesn't look like Ellie, but there are times where like you don't necessarily see her on camera where you can hear her talking, and just times where she's delivering and talking where it's like the mannerisms obviously add to the delivery, but there are times where I was like, if I close my eyes, like she has a lot of Ashley Johnson's inflections and tones, right? Like she's hitting the things where it's like she sounds like Ellie. And one of the other things that Mason talked about, right, was the Ellie-ness. And if you didn't know what Ellie-ness was beforehand, by the time you get to the end of this episode, you most certainly should understand what Ellie-ness is. Those little moments, those little outbursts are so Ellie. And then even like they talk about their reaction to Joel coming to her defense and being willing to punish somebody who was going to do her harm. And the way she kind of relishes in that a little bit. Like, all of the things I am looking for in Ellie are there in Bella. And while you play the game as Joel a lot, and definitely more so than Ellie, like, this franchise is about the two of them, but like Ellie is really the focal point. I mean, she's the potential savior to everything, right? So like her story is the one where you're introduced to her a little bit after Joel, and you play her a lot less than Joel, and it's kind of different in the second game. You play her more, and as the game progresses, you get to kind of do both a little bit. But it's one of these things where it's like Ellie's character is so important, and as you progress throughout the course of the game, like you're just naturally attached. You find yourself just drawn to the character because she's a spark plug and Joel isn't. And that's one of the other things that I love too, is that Joel and Ellie are kind of polar opposites, but also the same on a lot of levels, right? It's just Bella obviously in her performance, but Ellie kind of expresses it a lot more where Joel internalizes. And it's those pairings and things that make the game so great and make what we're getting in the first episode so great. And the other one for me, of course, is Anna Torv. Crushing it. And like I said, I was excited to see Torv step into the Tess role because she is someone I could see embodying that character and like is nailing it right now. And again, that's another place where I love that we get extra time with Tess and get to kind of see the events that happen just before Joel runs into Tess in the game. And it's like those are the fun things that like kind of see where they add to the story or take pieces or things that maybe are small or mentioned over here and bring it back and expand. Like that's the thing that I am the most excited about here. You know, something like the Sandman, I was extremely excited to just see that material adapted verbatim, because that's what Neil Gaiman wanted to do, because he was involved there. You got Druckmann involved here, and it's one of those things where as much more as you can accomplish, like the reason I think a lot of video games struggle when you take something like, say, Uncharted to make it a movie, is you don't get enough time with the characters. Like, you spend hours and hours and hours, I mean days, like in actual running time. Like, you total up your total play time, like you'll get to days, and over the course of days, weeks, months, depending on how fast you play a game, like, you spend so much time with them. And a TV show is super important to allow you to get to spend more time. So it's like in a game where you're spending so much more time in a story and with the characters, I love that you get to the TV show and go, oh man, there's so much story and things, so many different things that we didn't dive into that we can dive into. So getting to see kind of the build up to Tess, her first run-in with Robert, seeing Marlene have those interactions with Ellie before the handoff. It adds so many layers. And speaking of Marlene, oh man, Merle Dandridge, I'm so happy for this woman. Like she said, Mama she saw that and was like, Mama gotta have. Getting the opportunity to become a character in a video game and then see that adapted and getting the chance to take your performance from the video game and do it in live action. And mind you, when they do these video games, like she said, she grew into Marlene, maybe age-wise, but also like grew into the character, because you do the motion capture for a lot of that stuff. So you are performing. It's not just, your voice. You're doing the full thing. Who knows Marlene better than Merle Dandridge? And I think it was funny to hear her say in the inside the episode, like, I didn't think I was gonna necessarily get the role. It's like, who knows Merle better? And like, let alone when you have Druckmann like on board with this. And if you listen to Craig Mason, like, it should have been obvious. Although I guess at the same time, like, you don't really see a lot of voice actors, or even, even there's more performance than just the voice. Like, you don't see a lot of them get those shots in general. I mean, even your actors from the game, like Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson aren't getting their chances. Although Ashley Johnson's probably a little bit too old. But that's the cleverness of the game, right? Where you have a 20-year-old trying to do the nuance, and now you get to have someone like Bella do it and just crush it. Like, everything that's here, the characters we meet. Gotta shout out Gabriel Luna. Hit the back and forth between him and Joel in the kitchen when we first meet them, something that's not from the video game, but is so spot on Joel and Tommy. You know what I mean? And the little pieces that we get with Luna, like, he is Tommy, man. Like, he's got him to a T. And I'm so excited. Like, it's, where the story's going, but it's one of those where, like, you're getting more than you think you're gonna get. And I love seeing those additions and how those additions add layers and context for newcomers and depth to the folks that have played the game before. And like I said, some of those things help fill in gaps that you pick up in different video game ways that you can't translate to the screen. So I think for one episode, you're seeing Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin really thread the needles in a way where, if this first episode, I mean, I was like, if the first 30 minutes is representative of what the show is going to be, this first episode is representative of what the show is going to be. Video game fans are going to be ecstatic. And I think general audiences are going to fall in love with material and a story they didn't know. It's one of those where, like, my mom and dad are not horror people, not zombie people. I was talking to them last time I was home, and I was talking to my mom today. I was like, are you and Dad going to watch The Last of Us? She's like, I don't know about tonight. The Giants are on. We got The Chosen. Maybe if we can get to it, we'll get to it. But, like, I'll probably watch it at some point. I was like, I just want to make sure you guys are going to watch this, because I know horror and zombies and that type of stuff ain't your lane. But I'm telling you, this is one of the finest crafted stories and set of characters that you're going to run into. And like when we get to like the Emmys and I guess the Globes, it would be 2024. But like when you get to the award shows for the 2023 television, I promise you, this is me talking to my mom, but I'm promising you guys too, this show, these actors, the creators, they are all going to be in play for best show of the year. And the thing that'll go against it is that it's so early in the year. But like I'm telling you, this first episode is just like a sliver of the quality and the quantity that's coming. Like if this show hits numbers wise, we are gonna get so much Last of Us, and I hope everybody is watching and loving the show because I want to see all of that story adapted the same way I want to see Neil Gaiman get a chance to adapt all of the Sandman stuff. Like getting to see these creators from other mediums get to join creators, and that's the thing that is so key, right? Like, yes, Neil Gaiman has been around movies and TV and been involved in that stuff before, but like taking someone from the medium that they do the thing in and bringing them to a different medium, it's always really important for me to team them up with people who work in that medium frequently. I constantly bring up the Fantastic Beast movies and J.K. Rowling. The Harry Potter books are great. The Harry Potter movies are great because Rowling's not writing for the movies, and you have people who know how to adapt and do those things correctly. You see Rowling get to write on a lot of the Fantastic Beasts stuff without that help, and those movies struggle. And you see a little bit of an improvement, I think, in some things in the last round. While I don't think Secrets of Dumbledore or any of the Fantastic Beasts movies are on the same level as Potter, like if you look at those three movies, even if you don't like the third one the most, I think when you look at the story and what's going on and how the movie flows and works, it feels closer to being in the right space than the first two, I think, from a story perspective, because there are ways to bring things to life on screen, and I think you need those types of creators involved. And based on interviews, things I've seen, these guys talking, and now finally getting to see an episode, it's very, very obvious that Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin are a match made in heaven. You know what I mean? And I think if the show does well, like Gaiman and the guys that he's working with, like they're gonna get a chance to do everything they want to do, and that is super exciting for me. And the other thing too, it's not like, it doesn't feel like the George R.R. Martin thing where like, yeah, you have Martin pop in the back, on some of those inside the episodes, and you know that he was there advising, but like he's not the main two producers on the show. Neil Druckmann is, and he's like, a lot of times they're usually all these shows they have the two producers are the two ones talking through most of those inside the episodes. Neil Druckmann is one of those. That's super important, and I think they crushed this episode. Absolutely crushed it. If you watched my non-spoiler, you've already seen me get ready for a lot of these. It's gonna be like the freaking Sandman, dude. But first episode out, in my non-spoiler, I gave it a 5 out of 5 from an adaptation standpoint. I think this thing is perfect. I think it's only going to get better. So to give kind of an idea or a range of where the episodes go, as an episode, I went 4.5. I really do think the adaptation here is perfection. It has lines, it has moments, and just sequences that are right from the game. It has sounds, it has music that's right from the game, but at the same time, it adds to the game, it adds to the story. It's already adding layers to characters and moments that you don't get, where it's like the combination of the two is perfection. As far as an episode goes, I think if you're uninitiated, it's a really great start. I think that first half hour is, you can't get better in that first half hour with what they're able to pull off and what they're able to establish just to get the audience emotionally connected to Joel. Then throw in the jump to the back 20 years, and again, I think you're being introduced to the world really, really well. I think you're being introduced to the characters really well. You definitely are getting a sense of personality-wise, things that are going on with Joel, things that are going on with Ellie. I love getting the additions to like the relationship between Joel and Tess that we don't see, like her coming in at the end of the night and slipping into bed. Like all of that stuff happens before where we pick up in the game. So seeing those add-ons are wonderful. The performances are through the roof, and like it's hard to detach myself, but like when you look at the visuals, I mean that zombie that's attached with all the fungus on the wall, the way that the runners are acting at the beginning, like the things that are on fire, some of the just individual screenshots, like they're so perfect from the game. It's hard to kind of see away from that. But I think as an introduction to this world, I don't know if it's necessarily a perfect episode. You know, it's 120 minutes, and you know, it has its ups and downs in its pacing, but I think, you know, the back half of the episode, you could say, I think is a little bit slower than the first. But like, again, I think if you aren't familiar with this material, I don't think this episode is necessarily the full hook, right? Like, I think next episode, where we're gonna get to see some of the zombies and things that don't look like typical zombies and things, and get some more story and just different moments and places that we're gonna get to, there's so much room for like those pop kind of moments. But I think for a first episode and an introduction, is almost as perfect as it could be. So I think 4.5 is a fair starting spot for the full episode. But like I said, adaptation wise, perfection. So that's it, man. That's all I'm going to say. You've seen the reactions. You've got all my thoughts. Hopefully I've been able to maybe find little clips from the game to throw in from the cinematics, to kind of show you some of the stuff that's spot on, the way I did with the Sandman. I haven't looked for that stuff yet, so I don't actually know as I record this, but I hope I got it in there. But whether it's there or not, I want to know what you guys are thinking. One, as far as my coverage, my thoughts, what do you guys think? Like, if you've played the game or not played the game, the words that are coming out of my mouth, are they jiving with you? And then as far as watching this first episode, let's start with my gamers, because I am one of you. How wonderful is this adaptation? How wonderful are the performances? Like, are you just so locked in and just here for all of it and hope this show crushes the way I do? And if you have not played the video games, is this something that intrigues you? Like, I promise you, if the first episode hasn't fully hooked you, stick with it. These characters are so strong, and they will win you over, and you will become hooked. I promise you. But I'm really interested to see, for those non-gamers, like, how hooked are you through one episode? How intrigued are you? I loved the open. I didn't talk about this, but the first like 5 minutes where they started, what was it, back in like it was either 1968 or 36, something like that. Wherever they were, like where they did that interview and they're talking about like pandemics and things of that nature. But then the conversation of a fungus, like the idea, do you like that, at least if you're getting into another zombie show, that the idea around the zombies and stuff is kind of different than stuff you've seen before? Anything you guys got, man, whether you've played the game or not played the game, good, bad, indifferent on the show and the episode itself, I want to know everything you were thinking about The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 1. Put it down below in the comment section. I look forward to talking to you down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man every Sunday as we watch these. You guys will get the reactions, obviously, on like Monday, Tuesday. But the non-spoilers will come out late Sunday night, probably early Monday morning, because, you know, by the time you watch the show, talk about things, you know. But you want to be here for all that coverage. You just like the vibe of the old C-Man. You want to show a little love and support, be here for other things I'm doing. Well, hey, come join C-Maniac Nation. It's super easy. And like I said, every Sunday, somewhere between Monday and Tuesday, you can expect coverage of the Last of Us. I know I've fallen off for those that are followers on some other things, because I've lost recordings or I run out of time. But like, this is a show, if you've been here for Marvel or Star Wars stuff, you guys know how I get every single episode. So expect that coverage with the show, because it's gonna be that good. But you want to be here for that, man, come join C-Maniac Nation. Super easy. All you gotta do is jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace.
Oh, you guys are still here. You snuck up on me. You must be looking for more of this guy. Well, I got 2 video options for you, man. Right up here and right over here. And if you want all those C-Man goodies, well, hey, come join the squad right on over there, and I'll catch you on the next one.